The single most dangerous phrase a smoke shop owner can say in 26. Does this store feel careless or is it professional? And if the answer feels wrong, they start to dig deeper. Your new mindset: how do I build a store that never becomes a target? So you're listening to Chadway TV, real talk for real shop owners. All right, everybody. So this is no longer a what if conversation. Let's get something painfully straight right out of the gate. Enforcement is no longer theoretical. It's not a rumor, not a scare tactic. It's not something happening in the other states. It's here. It's now. And a lot of smoke shop owners are still operating kind of like enforcement is just a future problem instead of a present day one. The mindset is what gets stores shut down, fined, raided, or buried under legal stress. Okay? This episode is about how smart owners are changing the way they think and operate now that enforcement has shifted from vendors to retailers. Because make no mistake, guys and girls, there's a lot of girls out here too. The burden has moved to you. Retail is the real enforcement target now. And pretending otherwise is how people get blindsided. Okay, the big shift, y'all. And this is why retailers are now the target. For years, enforcement lived upstream. Labs, manufacturers, distributors, retailers were mostly ignored unless they were just reckless. And that era is ending. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. Because regulators realize something important. Can't control the market unless you control the point of sale. Because retail is where the age violations happen, mislabeled products move, unapproved SKUs are hitting consumers wide open, volume concentrates, public exposure is happening. So, painfully, enforcement is now focused on store inspections, product documentation, shelf presentation, age gating, employee knowledge, labeling at the retail level, inventory visibility, and what's physically available to consumers. Now, this is not about bad actors only. It's kind of about standardization, truthfully. And if your store doesn't look standardized, you stick out. And the most dangerous phase in the industry right now, let me just tell you. Let me give you the single most dangerous phrase a smoke shop owner can say in 26. You ready? Painfully simple here. The phrase, I didn't know. Yeah, that phrase will not save you. Enforcement agencies don't care what your distributor told you. They do not care what another shop is doing. They do not care what happened in 25. They care about what's on your shelves today. Ignorance is not bliss or protection. Documentation is. Let me tell you what enforcement actually looks like right now. And honestly, y'all, this is important because a lot of owners imagine enforcement wrong. It's not always SWAT teams and kicked in doors or windows. It's not headlines and dramatic raids. More often, it looks like a routine inspection or a follow-up visit, maybe even compliance checks or requests for documentation or product pulls or warnings that escalate. Fines that stack, licenses that questioned, leases that are suddenly very nervous. And the scary part, most stores don't realize they're in trouble until they already are. Now, this episode is about never getting to that point. The stores are getting hit first. Okay, it's kind of like a pattern alert, what I'm going to give you. Pay attention to this because patterns matter. The stores getting hit first tend to have monstrous, intoxicating hemp walls. No documentation on site. So if you got a bud bar and you can't prove exactly what's in the canister, you might as well have marijuana. All right. Chaotic product layouts. No clear category separation. Bullshit untrained staff. And employees who are guessing, that's a good word, the answers. And also sketchy signage, unclear age policies, inconsistent messaging, no compliance mindset. These stores look easy to flag. And enforcement always starts with the easiest targets, the low-hanging fruit. If your store looks sloppy, you're inviting scrutiny. If your store looks intentional, you often get passed over. And that's not luck. That's perception management. Enforcement is as much psychological, y'all, as it is legal. Now, this is something most shop owners just miss. They miss it. Inspectors are human. They walk into a store and they subconsciously ask themselves, does this place look responsible? Does this place look organized? Do these people know what the fuck they're doing? Does this store feel careless or is it professional? And if the answer feels wrong, they start to dig deeper. If the answer feels right, they often move fast. And that's reality. That's reality, y'all. Which means enforcement isn't just about what you sell. It's kind of about the vibe your store gives. Hey, how about the compliance mindset shift every owner must have? Here's the big change that separates survivors from casualties. All right, your old mindset, kind of like, how much can I sell before someone stops me? Or your new mindset, how do I build a store that never becomes a target? Now, that's a massive shift. Compliance isn't about fear. It's about predictability. The more predictable your store looks, the less interesting it is to regulators. Chaos attracts attention. Order deflects it. Hey, here's what smoke shop owners are doing differently right now. So let's talk about behavior, not theory, y'all. Here's what disciplined operators are doing. They are simplifying their product mix. That's number one. Too many SKUs equal huge exposure. Smart owners are cutting off those fringe products, trimming the fat, eliminating those one-off items, refusing products they can't explain. They're standardizing their brands that they sell. They're shrinking the high-risk sections. They're favoring clarity over quantity. Fewer SKUs, it also equals fewer questions. All right, number two, they're documenting every damn thing. Not some things, everything. They have COAs on file, vendor invoices saved at an arm's reach, product lists updated, staff training notes, age verification procedures, internal rules written down, and most importantly, they can produce documentation immediately if they're asked to. Not next week, not let me call my rep. Now, that alone changes how some inspections can go. Number three, they're reorganizing shelves for clarity. Hey, y'all, this is huge, man. I mean, huge. Instead of massive mixed walls, smart shops now have clear category separation. Wellness separated from intoxicating. Botanicals clearly labeled. Accessories and tools are highlighted. fewer ambiguous displays, benefit-based grouping. Hey, y'all, confusion is dangerous, y'all. Clarity, it protects you. Number 4, they're trying staff to say less, not more. Hey, this one's probably going to surprise a few people. In enforcement environments, less talking is safer than more talking. You know, you've heard your lawyer tell you, keep your mouth shut, I'll do all the talking. That's a good idea. Staff should only answer directly. Avoid guessing. No opinions, no hype, no legal speculation and trying to come up with your Instagram lawyer speech. And, redirect politely. Smart shops teach staff. If you don't know, say you'll get the manager. That single rule saves businesses. Number 5, they're removing edgy marketing. And it's another quiet shift. No wild claims, no exaggerated effects, no aggressive signs, less, shock branding, more neutral language. Because edgy marketing is an enforcement magnet. The biggest compliance mistakes are still happening, y'all. Let's talk about what's still killing people. Okay? Mistake number 1, trusting these bitch vendors blindly. This one keeps happening. Vendors are not your legal shield. That guy in Florida is not helping that guy in Massachusetts when the state police come knocking, or when an inspector comes knocking. Chances are the guy in California is not going to answer the phone when you need him to. All right. If a product is illegal at retail, you are the one that's responsible, the business owner. Period. Not the rep. Mistake number 2, thinking small stores won't get noticed. In all honesty, it's the exact polar opposite. They get noticed faster, not slower. They're easier to inspect. They can knock out more smaller stores than 1 or 2 large stores. It's easier to pressure, easier to shut down. Size is not your protection, guys and girls. Mistake number 3, letting staff improvise or freestyle. Every improvised explanation is a liability moment. Standard language matters now more than ever. Mistake number 4, overstocking questionable inventory. Dead inventory under enforcement pressure is how stores collapse financially. Liquidity beats volume right now. So let's talk about the hidden cost of enforcement most owners don't see. Even if you avoid fines or shutdowns, enforcement has an indirect cost. Makes the landlord pretty anxious. It starts to create some insurance issues. And don't get me started about merchant processors. The banks start to really scrutinize who they're dealing with. The employees that you have start to get fearful about their jobs. And customer perception gets kind of wonky because they start seeing everybody acting squirrely. And eventually your reputation will be damaged. Smart owners operate to avoid even the appearance of trouble. Hey, let me tell you about why enforcement is actually a good thing for the right stores. Here's the upside no one is going to tell you. Enforcement removes the badass actors. It cleans the market up. It eliminates the reckless competition. It pushes professionalism. It rewards discipline. The stores that survive enforcement come out much stronger. Less competition, better customers, more trust, more stability. And if you're prepared, this is an advantage. Definitely not a threat. Let me tell you about the enforcement-proof store model. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I'm gonna rattle this off to you. So let's stop talking theory and build something real. Like an enforcement-proof store. Now, this isn't a store that actually does nothing risky. It's a store that looks intentional. It's documented, it's educated, it's calm, and that's the difference. Here's what that model actually looks like on the ground. Number one, okay, your store must pass the 6-second test, and the first 6 seconds determines whether an inspector digs butthole deep into you or really just kind of moves on. All right, check it. When someone walks in, they subconsciously assess the lighting, the organization, the cleanliness, your signage, how staff is positioned and postured, the noise level. Is there visual chaos or order? If your store feels chaotic, their questions begin to multiply. If your store feels under control, they tend to stay surface level. And I mean, in all honesty, guys, this is human psychology and it's not legal theory. Number two, category separation is non-negotiable. One of the biggest enforcement triggers right now is mixed messaging. Smart stores clearly separate the intoxicating product, if it's still legal in your area, non-intoxicating hemp, botanicals, like Blue Lotus and herbal blends, functional mushroom products, accessories, tools, glass. Why, you ask? Because when categories blur, inspectors assume intentional confusion. Clarity, y'all, equals compliance. Number three, documentations must live in the store, not in your damn email. If documentation isn't on site, it might as well not even exist. Smart shop owners are printing their COAs out, their product lists by category, their vendor invoices, age verification policies, employee training outline, intentional rules that are internal. It helps if everybody has signed them, just saying. You should be able to answer documentation requests without leaving the counter. This alone changes the tone of the inspection. Number four, staff must know the safe language. That's a good word. This is critical. Staff should never speculate on legality. Never argue with the inspectors. And they should never explain chemistry. And as far as giving opinions, no. They also shouldn't overshare. The inspector doesn't give a damn about your daddy or mommy or your kids. They also shouldn't be guessing about anything. They should say things like, we follow current retail guidance. That's a non-intoxicating botanical product. I'll get the manager for documentation. We separate categories intentionally. Simple, calm, neutral. Emotion escalates the situations. Confidence de-escalates them. Now, how to do a self-audit today? You ain't got to have a lawyer. You don't need a compliance team to start. You need to be honest, not just with yourself, but with your team. Ask everybody these questions right now. Do we know exactly what's on every shelf? Can we explain every product category simply? Can we do as a team all of this? Is the riskiest category also our biggest category? Should we remove a category tomorrow without it being able to collapse the revenue? And is all the documentation available in the store? Does the layout reduce confusion or does it create it? Does it look too cluttered? Is there dust and shit, in places where it shouldn't be? Does the store look calm or chaotic? Look around. If these questions are making you uncomfortable, well, shit, there's your answer. All right, so Chad, what do inspectors look for first when they walk in the door? Well, contrary to popular belief, inspectors don't start with lab reports. They start with visual and behavior cues. They notice where products are placed, what signage says, how staff responds. Does the staff look trained? Whether categories are mixed? How about your age verification? How's that handled? whether claims are exaggerated, whether the store feels controlled. Now, if all those questions are you pass that, documentation often becomes routine. If those fail, everything escalates. Hey, Chad, how do I reduce risk without killing my sales? Well, this is the fear holding most owners back. Here's the truth, though. Reducing risk doesn't reduce revenue most of the time. Concentration does. And here's how smart shops protect sales. Okay. Number one, shift sales, don't eliminate them. Instead of telling your customer no, train your staff to redirect. Hey, we're focusing on cleaner categories. And most customers are switching over to these options. Hey, this is a popular alternative from that other product. Redirection retrains trust and revenue. Number two, build strong non-intoxicating categories. And this is where, Blue Lotus, botanicals, mushrooms, glass, grinders, scales, accessories. This is where all that saves you. Okay. These categories will keep the foot traffic coming in. It'll stabilize your cash flow. It'll reduce scrutiny. It'll attract new customers. It'll create loyalty, y'all. They aren't replacements. They're your foundation. Number three, use bundles to increase the ticket size. All right, y'all. So bundles reduce risk and increase revenue. Like, botanical herb, and some glass, mushrooms and some accessories, CBD and some storage, or build a ritual grouping kit. Bundling shifts focus from single products to experiences. Inspectors don't target experiences. You ever wondered about how to talk to your landlord and your bank during this huge enforcement shift? This matters more than people admit. Landlords and banks get nervous fast. Smart owners communicate proactively. They explain category shifts and how they're reducing what's going on, their documentation. They show the diversification. They show intent. Okay. Confidence reassures stakeholders. Silence creates suspicion. So here's the long-term enforcement reality. This is the hard truth, everybody. Enforcement's not going away. This is the new base. And what changes is who survives, who consolidates, who grows, who becomes the trusted local shop. The industry will have fewer stores, better stores, more professional stores. And this is what maturity looks like. The stores that will win this era, and the winners will be disciplined, documented, diversified, intentional, calm, educated, adaptable. They're not going to be loud or reckless, and definitely not desperate. They're just going to be prepared. Let me give you a little tough love before we wrap this thing up. If you're still operating like enforcement is a future problem, you're way fucking behind. If you're still hoping someone else gets hit first, you're way behind. If you're still trusting vendors to protect you, oh man, you ain't behind. You're left way back there. But if you audit your store, simplify the inventory, you train your staff, you separate the categories, you document everything, all right, you build stable revenue pillars, you're way ahead of most. And being ahead right now is the difference between survival and collapse. All right, y'all, this has been Chad Wade TV, real talk for real shop owners. If this episode helped you think more clearly about enforcement, hey, you need to share that with your brothers and sisters in the smoke shop world and get it to somebody who needs to hear it. And listen, for tools and templates and resources, protect your store. All right, visit chadwadetv.com and unswholesale.com. Until next time, operate with discipline, lead with confidence, and build a store that lasts.